Howdy folks, Matt here with Gulf Coast Fit. Thanks for joining me here at the Atitlan Underground, TR Atitlan's very own premier training facility. Very stoked to have this spot now. Finally, it's been a long time coming. First thing in the morning, I'm pretty darn tight. I want to hit a lower body workout today. My hips are tight, my hamstrings are tight from various chores and stuff, lifestyle factors as well. So I need to get good and mobile and feel safe and ready and fired up for my lower body workout. So I want to share with you a lower body mobility, flexibility routine in which you'll only need a bench. So very good routine because you don't need a lot of equipment. But Matt, I'm at home. I don't have an adjustable bench. I can't do your hip and core mobility routine. Fine. It's a chair routine, all right? We'll make this a chair mobility routine for lower body and a little bit of trunk, like I said. All right, so without further ado, let's pop a squat. And I want this to last, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And I think that when it comes to prepping for your workout, if you're addressing mobility and flexibility, 10 minutes is a sufficient amount of time if you're addressing the purpose of your workout. So again, I'm about to do legs, and so this chair routine is for the lower body, a little bit of core. So let's go and lean back in our chair, and we'll do some alternating knee tucks. Similar to the knee tucks you do when you're standing up, challenging your balance a little bit more. Similar to the knee tucks you do laying down on the ground in a supine position. Not saying these are better or less better, but it's just a different way to do some knee tucks. See, I'm just holding it for a split second, hugging and pulling my knee in towards my pecs, towards my chest, into my gut. Relaxing my hip when I pull up. Relax your hip. I'm not resisting. I'm being passive about this. A couple more on each side. And as you know, I'm a big fan of active mobility or stretching in motion. I don't do a lot of static stretching, especially before a workout. After a workout, I do like a little bit more static stretching than before a workout. So let's scoot up to the front of our seats. Now we're going to forward fold and hang down in between our legs. Got my knuckles down on the ground. And what I'm doing here is relaxing my lower back. Sinking down a little deeper with each breath. Getting myself a nice lumbar stretch here, lengthening the lower back and getting a great hamstring and hip adductor, the inner thighs. Feeling a nice stretch there as well. You see my elbows bend as I breathe and sink into it a little bit further with each breath. Focusing on inflating and inhaling air into my lower back. And that's where I really feel like I am loosening up right now. Now that we're down here, we sunk nice and deep, let's just rock and sway a little bit from right to left while we're still folded forward and hanging in between our legs. You might be hanging with your head down to the ground. Like I said, I'm pretty darn tight in the morning. I'm not going to pretend I'm a super mobile and bendy trainer first thing in the morning. I'm also searching for stretches as soon as possible. I'm not taking my body and range of motion to the fullest, potential extent. What I'm doing is trying to find the tightnesses and find stretches sooner than later when I work into a movement. I think you get more out of it that way. The goal isn't to just move into something as much as possible. It's to find what you need as efficiently as possible. All right, let's come on up out of there. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit more focus on the quadriceps, the hip flexors, A little bit more of the anterior trunk now, so I'm going to swivel on sideways. Let you peep the Skullet pony. A recent addition, thanks to Andrea. See, I've got a side straddle stretch here now. I've lengthened out my trail leg, which is my left leg right now. I'm hanging my left side of my body off the bench, so that's why I'm swiveling sideways. And I'm going to stay right here for just a few breaths, so we will hold a static stretch. Just a sec. Nice big stretch in the hip flexors. Pushing my back heel down towards the ground. Alright, now I'm just going to rotate and swivel my hips right to left. I got a little bit of support on the front leg here. I'm keeping the back leg pretty long and extended. And now as I swivel my hips, rotate my trunk a little bit, I'm feeling the effect here on my trail leg because I'm getting a little bit of external and internal hip rotation as I swivel my hips and body from right to left. I kind of like the traction that I'm getting on my trail leg with a little bit of internal and external hip rotation. And you're your own best judge here, so search for tightnesses and areas that you feel you need to facilitate some tension and some traction. You're your own best judge. Ooh, that feels great right there. Move around and find what you need. Everybody's different. Everybody's lives are different. Everybody's limb proportions, tendons and ligament insertion points are different. Muscle tension, muscle belly length, plethora of things are different that dictate how you're going to feel when you're running through something, even if it's the exact same routine. Facing the other way now. I'm going to hold this static stretch first, thinking about breathing air, inhaling, inflating, and expanding right here in my trail leg hip flexor area. That's because this is the primary purpose for me, maybe for you, for doing this particular exercise. I got a nice stretch up the anterior here too, in my lower abdominals, my obliques. I'm going to start to add the little hip swivel. Now we are on a chair, so if you want, you can tug on the back of the chair a little bit to help you twist. Like I said, we're getting a little bit of a trunk warm up as well. When I twist one way, you see me assisting and supporting on my body. Twist towards the bench, pulling on the back of the chair a little bit more. My right to left side is a little bit different. My hip flexors are not as tight on my right side, but my lower back is a little bit tighter. So when I twist towards the chair, I actually get a little bit more out of this part on this side. Take note of your own body. Always know what you need to emphasize on different regions, different drills. One more. Nice, okay. Now overall, that exercise gave me more adductor inner thigh, hip flexor quads. That's what it addressed. And now we're going to address a little bit more of the opposing musculature, connective tissue, fascia. We're going to hit the hamstrings a little more. Outer sweep of your thighs, kind of IT band area. And the outer hips, glute medius and glute maximus. So let's cross the leg here. Woo! Already got a deep stretch right here. Feeling this external rotation right in my hip crease. Feeling pretty tight. I'm going to sit tall, give it a few breaths, thinking about inhaling, inflating, and expanding right there in that tight hip crease that I've got going on. So I'm not cranking down on my leg. I'm not putting a bunch of weight and pressure on my leg yet. We'll get there. All right, now that we've got a little bit more comfortable in this position, I'm going to, let's add a little bit of trunk rotation in with this cross leg newspaper-like position. Twist to the left. And I twist to the right. Boy, I'm not getting far. I'm not getting far before I feel a very deep stretch in my lumbar region, my spine, and in my hips, especially this left hip. But again, I could go a lot further. All right, I could twist and face backwards a lot more. I don't need to crank on my body to facilitate a better stretch or to get more out of this. I'm trying to position myself in a manner where I address my tightnesses and I facilitate a stretch or stretches where I need it with less movement. And that's more to the point, it's more direct, it's safer, especially when you're trying to warm up. Less is more, like in a lot of training. Sometimes less intensity is more effective, sometimes less weight is more effective. Sometimes less duration, less volume. Sometimes. Let's do one more each way. This feels pretty good. Alright, let's keep this cross-legged position. And we're going to do a little bit of forward fold pulsing now. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on my knee joint area. And I got my other hand on my ankle. I'm just hinging forward, thinking about bringing my belly button forward towards the inside of my lap. And I'm coming back up. Hinging, folding forward a little bit, coming back up. Again, I could go further. I could flex my spine. I could face down further. I could make it look like I'm stretching more. But that's not the goal. Looks can be deceiving. I'm getting a great big stretch all around my hip in really a global manner. Inner, outer thighs, front and back of my hip. IT band, glute medius. Alright, now what I'm going to do is tilt and add a little bit of a twist. Tilt and twist towards my knee. Using my arms for a little assistance. Twist and tilt towards my foot. Coming back up each time. Tilting, rotating, twisting. I exhale as I fold forward. That helps me relax into the stretch a little bit deeper. And I'm getting a little bit deeper each rep. Extra millimeter each time, maybe. Let's do a couple more. It's not the most comfortable thing to maintain that cross-legged position while doing all this stuff for that long, but it's all right. It's part of the training. All right, cross-legged position the other way. I can already tell, boy, I'm much less comfortable on this side. I feel like I can barely even get into this position. So that tells me that, well, everything we just did on the other side, it helped quite a bit. A couple breaths right here, just staying still. Alright, I'm going to add those gentle little twists in, using my seat back for a little assistance, using my hand on my foot or on my knee for a little assistance. More into the twist on each rep. I like to see and feel the improvement during mobility work of any sort. A couple more. Come back to the center. We're going to add our little pulsing forward fold movements into it. And I say pulsing, we're not moving fast, but we're not holding a static stretch at the bottom. Again, I'm thinking about bringing my belly button forward Doesn't take me long until I feel a great big tug, my lower back, outside of my right hip, IT band going down the outer sweep of my thigh, and even the groin area on my right leg here. Now after several reps, I start to fold or round and flex my spine into it a little bit more. That's after I've already executed several reps at least. ¿Todo bien, David?
Sí, todo bien.
¿Tienes todas las cosas?
Ajá.
¿Y recibos también?
No, con recibo, ¿no?
Okay.
Son diferentes.
Keep on going now. Estoy haciendo una pequeña película ahorita.
Vale, constante.
Sí, hablamos más tarde. Gracias. Adding the little twists in. Couple more. I like it. I like it. Oh yeah. Hop on up. We will we'll take a side position. I'm going to elevate my left side on the bench now. And what we're going to do first, hop your feet in into about like a squat stance. We're going to drop down into a squat with one foot elevated. Drop, 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 drop. And you see what limits your depth here is this top leg and your hip anatomy. My hips kind of go offset a little bit. That's fine. We're just going to hang out here right now in this kind of offset, hip tilted stretch. And what this does is with this top foot elevated, you're getting a great big stretch on your inner thigh, inner part of that ball and socket hip joint, adductor region on this side. And when your hips tilt, I personally am feeling a stretch down the right side, the opposite side of my trunk, my lower back quadratus lumborum region. And that's because the hips are tilting, they're offset, they're shifting. So this side is lengthening right there in the QL region. Do a little pulsing now, a little pulsing action. All right, support yourself on your thigh here. All right, let's come on up. Let's hop this foot out wide. Hop it out, hop it out, hop it out. And what we're going to do now is kind of like a side lunge with an elevated foot, lunging towards the bench or chair. And sink it into it as deep as you can. Hang out down here. I'm going to shimmy and shake a little bit. Not really holding a static stretch. Shimmy, shake, rotate to the left, rotate to the right. I'm feeling some nice traction on my trail leg here, my extended right leg, especially when I twist my trunk away from it. Nice traction to go along with the, technically that's external rotation of this hip when I rotate the opposite direction. Couple more. Now support yourself where you need to, on your knee, on your thigh, on the chair. You got this tool for a reason. All right, push yourself up on out of there. Keep that foot elevated. Now we're going to do something similar, but in the opposite direction. Similar, but very different. So I'm going to extend my right leg, or my left leg, my elevated leg. Pop this right foot out a little bit more. I'm going to support myself on my body, my hips, my thighs. I'm going to work down into basically another side lunge, but in the opposite direction. I'm sitting back, just like a squat. Yeah, see, I've got my foot flat here. You can do a toe up as well. Different variations, different ways. Can't do everything at once though. Now I'm hanging out here. Yeah, it's a little bit of work to hold this position, but I'm bracing myself, and that helps me maintain this static position for little bit longer than I would be comfortable otherwise. Alright, now that we're here, we got a little more comfortable being here. Big old groin stretch, gracilis, sartorius, hip adductor stretching. I'm gonna go fingertips to the ground. Can you get in there? Can you get fingertips to the ground? And you see, in order to do that, or while I did that, I straightened my right leg out a little bit. So both legs are pretty extended, knees are still unlocked. And while I'm here, I feel a nice lower back stretch again. At the same time, I'm still getting that giant groin stretch on my elevated left leg. Now I'm getting a giant hamstring stretch on my planted right leg. And I'm going to shimmy and shake, twist and move. I am searching for stretches in all of the little places that I didn't know I was super tight, or that I did know, and I just needed to find a way to get there. Move like you need to. Be curious in this awkward position and find what you need. If you feel a very tight, very tense, aggressive stretch, you don't need to go into it further, but address it. Hang out there a little bit more. Put a little bit more time and energy into it. And now back up here. This is just en route to standing back up again. I feel like moving around in this position a little bit more. And come on up nice and easy, nice and easy, nice and easy. Okay. Let's swing on around here to the other side. Now we've got one foot elevated, other foot down. We're going to drop into our awkward offset squat. Anchoring myself on my own body. Hips are tilted. So, facilitating a nice stretch in the upper leg, inner thigh, groin, inside of your hip joint. I'm finding that same stretch on the quadratus lumborum area, back of my lower side trunk. Start to move around a little bit now, just little micro movements. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to shimmy this foot out. And I'm going to lean and shift towards the inside leg. Let's explore a little bit, all right? Now that we're here, twist on the bench a little bit. I'm going to tilt the other way. I'm going to push my knee open. I'm going to twist my trunk a little bit using my body, a little bit of resistance. A little bounce action. All right, let's scooch on out. Focusing on extending the elevated leg now. Dropping down into our side squat here. Go ahead and add some little micro movements in. Find what you need, explore with it. Gonna make my way down, fingertips or knuckles down to the ground. Here we are. I'm trying to keep both legs as straight as possible, but the knees are unlocked, especially on this bottom leg. I have to be locked out completely. Oh yeah. Little shimmy action down here goes a long way. Goes a very long way. I'm going to give little mini sways back and forth. Let my head hang heavy now. Feeling the lower back stretch. A lot of lumbar flexion here. Bend and extend the knee a little bit. It's just the general position is what we care about, and you can make it your own by exploring all of these small and profound crevasses of your anatomy. Yeah, got a little hip popping in there. I like it. All right, we gotta come up out of here real careful. Push on your knee maybe. Come on up. Woo, nailed it. Last thing, let's give it a little shimmy shake. A little shimmy shake here. Just hip swings front to back. A few on each side. So that is our bench or chair hip and lower body warm-up mobility routine. Tell you what, I'm going to squat more proficiently now, deeper, safer, more effective, probably heavier now in a safer manner. Feeling much better. Give that a go. It's worth it. Invest in yourself. Stay safe. Stay strong. See you when we train in person here. Can't wait.